Okay, so today we're going to address 3 more questions. It's all about questions you have or frustrations you have about planning your team retreats. And we're here to answer all of those questions. I'm Danielle, CEO of SONA Events. And this is Michelle, COO of SONA Events. And yeah,
the dream team.
Let's get started with our first question, Michelle.
All right, so these 3 questions today are from Elizabeth. One is, what are the 3 most important things in finding the right property? I think that's a good question.
We talk a long time about finding the right property. Man, the three things.
The 3 most important things. Yep.
3 most important things finding a property. Well, gosh, off the top of my head, when I think about what makes like the best property for team retreats,
best experiences and things like that.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of going to your typical box hotel. I mean, sometimes that's the best option and sometimes that works and sometimes that happens. That's okay. But if we have the proper time to look for something, we're looking for something that doesn't always exist city center. Mm-hmm. It just depends. There's so many things. It just depends.
Yeah.
But we're looking for something that you can create a natural experience at the property. So things like, what's the vibe? Like, what's their kind of like culture internally with the hotel? Is it there's a brand I really like called Moxie Hotels, and it's one of the kind of like the chain hotels that I do like because they've got a different culture going on. Like you check in at the bar and you get a drink, and the common areas and spaces are all made like for hanging out. So you're going to see a lot of like tables and games and stuff where, for a team retreat, our team members can go and hang out because
it feels more personal versus so spread out.
Yeah, and it's super social. So so when I'm looking at, perhaps a certain budget range or location, that's a brand that will tend to go search out. But if I'm looking for a full buyout for a company, which means they have free reign, full access of an entire property, just the team, then I'm looking for things that are a little bit different. We tend to like outdoor spaces. We tend to like places where everybody gets their own room. What is the, say we're in Mexico, is there a pool? Is there a beach? Like, what does the experience look like? And I'm a little bit more focused on those experiential components, like the social components, rather than like how nice is the room, right? I mean, obviously we want a clean room.
Yeah, but the goal of a team retreat is usually team building. So you don't want everybody to love their room so much that they don't want to come out at the same time.
So sometimes like that, like leisure vacation people are looking for really nice rooms because they're going to spend a lot of time in it, right? Our rooms, and I say this because it's like our rooms aren't bad.
Yeah.
but it's not the main focus. Like
it's not top of the list.
Yeah, that's like third maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe second. Like what's first? Common area, places to gather. Can we have meals together?
Yeah. I think a big one for a full buyout is flexibility.
Yeah.
So not very structured, but able to work with the team and create flexibility for them to really have a great experience and enjoy what they're doing the whole time they're there.
Well, and I think that's a really good point right there. Like, you can't figure out flexibility or like ease of the property by pictures.
No.
And so having the opportunity to go on site or to work with partners that have a certain standard is always really helpful in determining like where to go on retreat, because we've vet hotel properties because of this very reason, that like we need our eyeballs on the property.
Yeah.
Because what happens if we show up and we're like, oh,
this is not what we expected.
Yeah. And that would just be like a really bad experience.
Yeah. Well, and I just actually had the opposite happen where I went and did a site tour and I looked at the photos and it was pretty. It was, it was a very beautiful location. But once I was on site, I was wowed way more than I ever was with the photos.
And that's what we're looking for. See, and our clients are going to have the same experience of, oh, this is much better than the photos. And that's an ideal situation.
Ideal location. So to sum it up, what are our top 3?
Oh my gosh, there's so many things.
We could keep talking all day about this one.
Yes, finding the perfect property is all in the social areas and the activity, like the natural activities and like gathering spaces. I think that's what I'm looking for. Number 1. Number 2, I think kind of goes into meeting space. I think, the boring stuff. Is there natural lighting in the meeting space, in the meeting rooms? Are they unique or interesting? Because people are going to be in there all day long and nobody wants to sit in a box.
Is there any way to get fresh flow of air or stuff like that?
Is there a patio? Can they go outside? Where's breaks happening? And then 3rd is probably just general accommodations and things like that for like team members. Like that becomes 3rd on the list, I think. Is that a good list?
I think it's pretty good. I would agree.
Good. I know. And we're just a little plug here. We're putting together a SONA collection. So what that means is all of our vetted properties that we really, really like that work well for team retreats. We have a full collection. Hopefully by the time this is out, there will be a link so that if you're looking for that perfect destination, you can go browse our collection and we can help get you set up and situated with that property.
Well, and it'll have locations that not only work well for retreats, but also worked well with us so that we know our teams that are going are going to have a good experience with the staff also.
And I think our groups are typically remote companies. They're usually a little bit on the younger side. We're talking about like late 20s, early 40s, mid 40s maybe. And so they're just looking for something a little bit different. So anyway, so the SONA collection will be that little something different.
Perfect.
Sorry. Next question.
No, you're good. Another one that I think is really good that she asked, we have quite a few from her, but we're trying to do just 3. So we'll do all the others on a different one. But the ratio of work and play, that's a big one that I think a lot of companies don't actually think of because they still want to have teams work on site, but you're still in Mexico. You still want to play. You still want to do the team building. So what do you think is the best ratio for that?
Well, I think it comes down to a few different factors. Why are you going on team retreat, right? Is there a lot of work that needs to get done? Are you like approaching a huge launch and you're just like, whoa, we got to go. And everybody's got to we got to move as fast as possible. So this is the best way to do that. Or is this about like a little bit of work, getting alignments with the team? Maybe there's a lot of new people on the team, so we want to spend more time team building. So I think it really depends on like the reason and the purpose that retreat is there and exists. Because then that's going to tell you a little bit of things when it comes down to like creating the agenda. We have a 40-30-30 rule when it comes to creating the perfect team retreat. So that's 40% work, 30% team building, and 30% like rest and relaxation. So what that means though is if you are like, no, we're in go mode and we've got a lot of work to get done, you can kind of scale that a little bit, like add a little more time to the play, like, or take away from rest and relaxation. And so that's going to help you just figure out how to schedule your team retreat based on your goals and objectives. But our baseline is 40-30-30. In the show notes, there's a link to copy ours. You can download our team retreat agenda. It's in a Google sheet. So it's super easy to just make a copy.
Make it however you need. Okay. How do you plan a retreat that can serve everyone on the team when they are so different? So an example is like introverts versus extroverts, or people that like activities versus people that want a massage.
Gosh, we just have so many rules.
I know.
So the rule here, or the rule of thumb, is we look for opportunities to have a quiet activity, an active activity, and a low-key activity. So this helps us account for all the different styles of people, or, maybe being in work sessions all day is exhausting. So you're like, I don't feel like doing something. And so you know that about yourself and you choose the low-key activity. but maybe leisurely you'd go for the active activity.
Yeah.
And so we look for those 3 varieties. And then our 4th variety is nothing. I'm opting out of any activity.
And just want to lay in bed and do nothing today.
Or maybe the pool or the beach or whatever, like just want to be on their own agenda. And so that's a really great way of accommodating everybody, giving enough variety and enough options.
Yeah.
That if people choose to opt out because that's the best use of their time, then they can make that happen.
I think this question and the previous question somewhat go hand in hand a little bit, where we do have a team that does offer, you know, different activities for everybody. They can choose what they want to do one day, and then another day they do a whole activity together, which I think is super cool. And it's more of an active activity, but they invite people to come and watch and cheer people on, and they give prizes and things like that as the team building side. But they also give another day that gives 5 to 6 different activities that they can do for individual team building or just for themselves. And I think that's such a cool thing to offer for your teams.
Yeah, that's a great point. Finding ways to have all team activities together, but then also segment them out into a more like personalized experience for team members.
Yep.
So man, another set of great questions.
I know, those
Keep
are good
them
ones.
coming.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Those were great. We're going to use your other 3 on a different podcast.
So, I love it. Cool. Well, thanks for joining us. If you have any questions or feeling frustrated about your upcoming team retreat, hit us up. We're happy to answer. See you next time.
See ya.